Hello everyone, I'm Grace. Welcome to my channel. In this video, I will tell you 5 common mistakes that native Mandarin speakers make, so you won't get confused by these anymore. So what kind of mistake are Mandarin speakers most likely to make? As you might know, to be able to write and type in Chinese, you have to learn Chinese characters, right? I mean, even if you know the pronunciation, it doesn't mean that you know how to write it. So sometimes even Mandarin speakers write down or type out the wrong character. You can see, actually many Chinese people have noticed and discussed this phenomenon. So today let's take a look at the 5 most common mistakes that native Mandarin speakers make. Number 1. 在 and 在. If you have learned Mandarin for a while, you would know that these two words are quite different, but because they sound the same, many native speakers use them incorrectly. For example, you might know that in Mandarin, if you want to say to see again or to watch again, you can say 再看一次, right? This 在 is the correct character to express again, but let's see how people use it incorrectly in daily life. Here, this is a Mandarin corpus of online test. Let's type out the wrong one, 再看一次. Okay, here it is. You can see there are actually many people using the wrong 在. Like here it says 找出来再看一次, finding it and watching it again. So to express again, the character should be 在 instead of this 在. Okay, let's move on to the next common mistake. That is 竟然 and 竟然. 竟然 has the meaning of unexpectedly and it is used to show surprise. For example, 他今天竟然来了. To my surprise, he came today. However, 竟然 means entirely so or necessarily so, and it's often just used in the negative form. Like you can say, 他说的话不尽然都是对的. What he said is not necessarily correct. So these two words have different meanings, but because their pronunciation are quite similar, the only difference is that one ends with and the other one ends with n. I know a lot of you find these two sounds hard to distinguish. Even Mandarin speakers mix them up sometimes. Let's use the search tool to see some examples. Let's type out 竟然 and see how people use it. Yes, you can see there are many results. Let's take a look at this one. 你离开我已经有172天了. It's already been 172 days since you left me. 为了你竟然单身了5个月. Because of you, I unexpectedly being single for 5 months. So here you can see, actually, the person wanted to say 竟然, but he typed out the wrong character. You can tell it's incorrect because this word 竟然 is usually used in the negative form, and here he wanted to express unexpectedly, so it should be 竟然. Okay, the third one is 应该 and 应该. 应该 means should or supposed to, and the other 应该 doesn't exist. But sometimes this word appears because people mix up and n, just like the last common mistake. The first one is 应该 and the second one is 应该. The pronunciation is pretty similar but still different. Let's use the search tool again. Here, this sentence says 我这么年轻就应该出去走一走. I'm so young, I should go out and walk around. So next time if you see this kind of sentence, you will know that this word 应该 doesn't exist, and whoever wrote this wants to say the word should, 应该. The next common mistake is 的 and 的. These 3 words are structural particles in Mandarin. They can be used to combine different words together. I will tell you their usage first, and then show you some mistakes that native speakers make. So first, let's learn how to use these 3 的. The first 的 can be used to modify a noun. The structure is like this, something plus 的 plus a noun. For instance, 我的书, my book. 很热的天气 very hot weather. The second the is used to modify a verb. The structure is like this. The word placed before this the is usually an adjective. And since adjectives modify nouns, you can just think that this the converts adjectives into adverbs to modify verbs, just like the suffix li in English. Let's see some examples. 慢慢地走 walk slowly. 大声地唱歌 sing loudly. The third the is used in this structure to add more information about a verb or an adjective. For example, 你中文说得很好 You speak Chinese very well. 他跑得很快 He runs very fast. So now you know the distinction between these three words because they have the same pronunciation and don't have concrete meanings. You might find them a bit hard to use correctly. Many Mandarin speakers feel the same way. So in daily life, many people use them wrong. They often use the first the to replace the other two. Let's see some examples. Firstly, let's enter an example we just mentioned. 慢慢地走 walk slowly. It should be this the. But for now, let's use the first the to replace it and see whether there are some results. Here you go, there are so many results. Now let's see another one. Another example we mentioned is he runs fast. 他跑得很快. I will just type out 跑得很快 to run fast. It should be this the. Now let's replace it with the first the. Yes, it also has many results. So now you know that a very common mistake that Mandarin speakers make is using the first the to replace the other two the. Now let's move on to the last common mistake. 即使 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 means even if. It is used to emphasize that something will still be true if another thing happens. Let's see an example. 即使明天下雨，我们还是会去爬山. Even if it rains tomorrow, we will still go hiking. Sometimes people replace 即使 with 即使, and this word 即使 actually doesn't exist in Mandarin, but some Mandarin speakers write and type this word because 即 and 记 sound similar and look similar, so they mix them up. Let's use the search tool again. So let's type out the non-existent 即使 and see what results we get. Wow, a lot of results. So when you see this word, you will know that the person wants to say 即使, which means even if. Okay, that's all for today. I hope today's video is useful for you. Also, I hope you won't get bothered by this mistake anymore after watching this video. If you notice some other mistakes that native Mandarin speakers make, feel free to leave a comment below. Alright then, I will see you next time. Bye!